My wife's lover and his crew showed up to teach me a lesson saying your wife needs a real man. Later, when the paramedics showed up, they couldn't even walk. Hey Reddit, get ready for this one because it gets wild. Obvious disclaimer, names are fake, ages are rounded, and a couple details are swapped around so nobody with a badge and a Google search gets cute. The events are real though. I, 38 male, have been married to my wife Megan, 36 female, since I was 27. 11 years of what I thought was solid. House in the suburbs, 2 cars, the whole setup. She worked pharmaceutical sales, I worked cases. We made it work. Or so I thought. 3 in the morning and I was sitting in my truck outside some house I didn't recognize, watching my wife through the windows. Been a cop for 11 years now. Started as patrol, worked my way up to detective. You do this job long enough, you learn to spot when something's off. My marriage had been making weird noises for weeks. Megan's BMW was sitting in the driveway of this lakefront place. One of those glass box houses that cost way too much. I'd been tracking her car for 2 weeks, stuck a GPS under the bumper. Same location 3 nights a week, always when she said she had late meetings about some drug pitch. Around 3:15, the upstairs lights went off. 10 minutes later, she walked out looking rough. Hair everywhere, makeup smeared, wearing some red dress I'd never seen. She didn't see me. Just checked her phone, smiled at whatever text she got, drove off, acted like she didn't have a husband at home. I didn't follow. Already knew where she was headed. Back to our place to shower and climb into bed like nothing happened. Like she hadn't been making me look like an idiot for who knows how long. So I sat there staring at this house. Nice cars everywhere. Boat at the dock. The whole setup. And inside was whoever had been screwing my wife. Phone buzzed. Text from Megan. Sorry, babe. Client dinner ran late. Be home soon. Didn't respond. Just screenshotted it and added it to the folder on my phone. Building a timeline like I did for court. Timestamps, photos, screenshots, evidence. By the time I got home, it was 4:30. Megan's car was in the garage. All the lights were off. Walked in quiet, headed to the kitchen, started coffee. 20 minutes later, she came down in that robe I bought her last Christmas. Hair wet. That shower she always took when she got back from wherever. You're up early. Couldn't sleep. She poured coffee, kept her back to me. Had that defensive edge in her voice already. Conference ran late. You know how doctors are. Talk business over dinner forever. Right. The conference. That was tonight? Shoulders tensed up. Yeah. Why? Just checking. Thought it was next week. No, it's this week. I told you. My bad then. She turned around and that's when I saw it. Purple bruise on her collarbone. She'd tried covering it with makeup, but the shower washed it off. What's that on your neck? Hand flew up automatically. Oh, this? Curling iron got me this morning. Looks like teeth marks. Don't start, Stone. I'm tired. Don't need your paranoid crap right now. Paranoid? Yeah, paranoid. Been acting weird for weeks. Questioning everything. It's exhausting. Set my coffee down careful. I know you're cheating, Megan. Kitchen went dead quiet. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. That was new. Megan always had something to say. Been tracking your car 2 weeks. You've been going to some house on Clearwater Drive. Same place 3 times a week when you say you're working. You're tracking me. That's insane. What's insane is lying to me for weeks. Coming home smelling like someone else and thinking I wouldn't notice. Face went from shocked to pissed in about 2 seconds. Want the truth? Fine. Yeah, I'm seeing someone. Because you're boring, Stone. You work cases and come home exhausted. We don't go anywhere. Don't do anything. I need more. More than this. Waved around the kitchen. The house I pay for. More than a husband working 60 hours a week so you can drive that BMW and buy $600 dresses? Not about money. Then what? Being with someone who has ambition. Who's actually going somewhere. And I'm not? You're a cop, Stone. Been one for 11 years. Gonna be one forever. You'll never be anything more than what you are right now. There it was. What she really thought. I wasn't good enough. Never was. Who is he? Arms crossed. That smug look I'd been seeing more lately. Preston, real estate developer. Successful, ambitious, everything you're not. How long? 6 weeks. Get out. She blinked. Wasn't expecting that. What? You heard me. Pack a bag and get out of my house. Your house? This is our house. I'm not going anywhere. Wrong. Mortgage is in my name. I pay it every month. You contribute nothing. Get your stuff and go to Preston since he's so ambitious. You can't just kick me out. Stood up from the table. 6'2", 220. 11 years of chasing down guys who didn't want to be caught. Looked her dead in the eyes. Watch me. You got 30 minutes to pack what you need. Anything else I'll throw on the porch. This is insane. I have rights. You have the right to leave before this gets ugly. 30 minutes. Her voice cracked. You can't do this. Want to test me? Her face changed. Scared. Fine. But this isn't over. Yeah, it is. 30 minutes. She stormed upstairs. I heard drawers slamming, closet doors banging. Didn't care. Just sat there drinking my coffee and planning what came next. 28 minutes later, she came down with 2 suitcases, eyes red but more angry than sad. You're making a huge mistake. Only mistake I made was you. Keys to the house. Excuse me? House keys. On the counter. Now. Stone. Now. She threw them so hard they bounced off the backsplash and hit the floor. Dramatic exit ruined by bad aim. My lawyer will destroy you? Looking forward to it. Door slammed. BMW peeled out. Gravel flying. Whole dramatic exit. Sat there with my cold coffee knowing this was just the beginning. Megan thought she'd walk away clean with her pride and someone else's money. She was about to find out that betting against me was her biggest mistake. Wade showed up at the diner at 7 like always. Been my partner 6 years. Built like he played linebacker. Got a temper that got him suspended twice. Beard made him look like some biker who ended up with a badge. Guy who'd throw down with anybody, but give you his last 20 if you needed it. Boss, you look like crap, he said, pouring coffee from the pot the waitress left. Wife's been cheating. Kicked her out this morning. I filled him in on everything. The GPS tracking, the lakefront house, 6 weeks of lies, Megan telling me I was boring and going nowhere. When I finished, he was quiet for a minute. Just stared at his coffee like he was thinking about punching something. So what's the play? He finally asked. Information first. Can't tear down what you don't understand. Pulled up my laptop and showed him what I found. Preston, 43, real estate guy who flipped commercial properties. Divorced twice, both times messy from what I could see. Lived in that lakefront house worth about $2 million. Black Range Rover with all the extras. Posted on social media like he was some motivational speaker. Guy looks like a douche, Wade said, scrolling through the photos. That's because he is a douche. Check this out. Showed him Preston's social media. Every post was motivational garbage about success and winning and alpha mindset. Tons of pics at charity events with local politicians. Even more with different women who weren't his ex-wives. Player. Serial 1. Found 4 other women linked to him past 2 years. All married or in relationships when it started. Got a type then. Yeah, and Megan's the new one. We spent the morning on shift. Had a robbery case that needed follow-up and a domestic that went sideways last week. Kept my hands busy and my mind sharp. Around noon, I drove past Clearwater Drive. The Range Rover was still in the driveway. Megan's BMW was parked next to it. Middle of a Wednesday, and they were playing house while I was working. I took photos, documented everything, built the case piece by piece. Evening, I was at Rusty's watching a game. Place filled up around 7. Working guys, some office types, local business owners, cops too. Rusty's was our spot. Half the guys in there either had badges or knew someone who did. Preston walked in at 8. Everything I expected. 6'1", spent half his life at the gym probably, wearing stuff that cost more than rent. Hair slicked back, expensive watch. Thought that equaled personality. His crew followed. All the same. Pricey casual clothes, loud, that swagger from never getting punched in the face. Grabbed a table in back and started holding court. Women drifted over. Didn't matter, half of them had rings on. Preston had something that made them forget. Thing about married women, he was saying loud enough for everyone, is they appreciate quality. Know what they're missing at home. Friends laughed. Couple women giggled like he said something smart. Got this farmer rep I'm seeing. Smoking hot, drives a Beamer, married to some cop. Guy works cases all day. But she chose me. More laughing. Gripped my bottle tighter. What's her name? Megan. Total upgrade from her situation. Says the bedroom's dead. Guy's got nothing. Can't satisfy her. Can't provide for her. Just a public servant living paycheck to paycheck. Lie. We were together 2 weeks ago. Or maybe for her it was just going through the motions. Didn't matter. What mattered was this guy running his mouth about me in a bar full of people. Why is she still married? Was married. Her husband kicked her out this morning like a little biatch having a tantrum. Probably crying into his pillow right now. That got the biggest laugh yet. I finished my beer. Set it down. Caught Rusty's eye from across the bar. He gave me a look that said he heard it too. We go back 15 years. He ran this place for 30 years. Retired Marine, never forgot a friend. I walked over to their table. Slow. Deliberate. Room didn't go quiet, but conversations near us got softer. People sensing something. Preston looked up annoyed at first. Then something registered. Yeah. Know you? Stone. The cop whose wife you've been screwing. The one you're running your mouth about. His boys shifted in their seats. 2 of them. One thick like he lifted. Other one lean, but looked fast. They were reading the room trying to figure out if this was going to be a problem. Preston leaned back. Tried to look casual, but I saw his shoulders tense. Look, man. No disrespect. But if your wife's finding what she needs elsewhere, maybe ask yourself why. Maybe ask yourself what kind of man brags about other people's marriages in public. Kind who tells the truth. She came to me, said you couldn't handle her, couldn't keep up, said you were. That's when I hit him. Just stepped forward, grabbed his shirt with my left hand, and drove my right fist into his face. His nose made a sound like stepping on dry branches. Blood everywhere. His boys scrambled up, chairs flying, but I was already moving. 11 years of chasing guys who didn't want to be caught teaches you how to fight dirty and fast. The big one rushed me, stepped inside his swing, drove my elbow into his throat. He went down gagging. The lean one tried circling behind, kicked a chair into his shins, caught him stumbling, drove my knee into his face. Down. Preston was trying to get up, blood streaming from his nose, swinging wild. Sloppy. Gym muscles don't mean you know how to fight. Slipped his punch and put 2 hard shots into his ribs. Heard something crack. He doubled over and I drove my knee into his face. Once. Twice. Let him drop. Whole thing took maybe 15 seconds. 3 guys on the ground. 1 bleeding from his nose, probably broken. 1 holding his throat. Preston curled up, making sounds I'd heard from guys who just realized they weren't as tough as they thought. Bar was quiet. Then Rusty came out from behind the bar. Known him since I was a rookie. He looked at the damage, looked at Preston's crew, made a decision in about 2 seconds. Stone, office, now. Followed him to the back room. He closed the door, pulled up the security footage on his ancient monitor. 3 camera angles covering the bar. 1 showed the whole thing clear as day. Me walking up. Me throwing the first punch. Rusty looked at me. That footage shows you starting it. I know. You know Preston's gonna press charges. Guy like that doesn't take an ass-kicking quietly. Probably. Rusty was quiet. Then he reached over and started typing. I watched him clip the footage. Save a new version that started 30 seconds later, right when Preston's boys were scrambling up. The earlier part disappeared. Camera angles in here are garbage, Rusty said. Half the time they don't catch what starts things. All I saw was Preston and his boys getting loud. Then everything went sideways. They've been in here before causing problems. Preston's got a reputation. What about witnesses? What about them? Bar was loud. Game was on. People saw Preston's crew getting aggressive with a cop. Saw them stand up first. Saw chaos. Nobody saw exactly who threw what. Some of them saw. Some of them saw what they expected to see. Loud, drunk, rich guy with a history gets put down by an off-duty cop after running his mouth about the cop's wife. Story tells itself. He was right. Preston had a reputation. I had 11 years of clean service. People see what makes sense. I owe you. You don't owe me anything. You owe yourself an explanation for why you did something that stupid. But that's between you and whatever you see in the mirror. Went back out. Patrol had already arrived. Someone called it in. Preston's crew was sitting up now, holding ice to various parts of their faces. Preston was demanding badges and lawyers and civil suits, making noise about police brutality and assault. One of the patrol guys I knew pulled me aside. Stone, what happened? They were running their mouths about my wife. Things got heated. They got aggressive. I defended myself. 3-on-1? 3-on-1. He looked at Preston, still bleeding and threatening lawsuits. Looked at his boys, looked back at me. I could see him doing the math. Cop with a clean record versus drunk rich guy with a reputation for causing problems. Not a hard equation. Gonna need statements from everyone. Understood. They separated us. Took statements individually. Preston's version was assault and battery. I attacked unprovoked. He was just having drinks with friends. His boys backed him up word for word. 2 word for word. Cops notice when stories match too perfectly. My statement was simple. They were making threatening remarks about my wife. Got loud. Got aggressive. When they stood up and started moving toward me, I believed I was about to be attacked and responded to protect myself. Rusty gave his statement. Respected. No reason to lie. Said Preston's group had been getting louder all night. Said he'd had problems with Preston before. Had to ask him to leave once last year. Said the confrontation escalated fast, and from where he was standing, it looked like Preston's crew initiated physical contact. The footage he provided supported that version. Angles were bad. Couldn't see who threw first. Just showed 3 guys surrounding one guy, then chaos. Other witnesses varied. Some said they saw Preston get loud. Others heard threats about teaching lessons. A few said they couldn't see exactly how it started. Chaos and confusion. But the pattern was clear. Everyone agreed Preston's group was the problem. Nobody had a bad word about the quiet cop who usually sat at the bar and watched games. That's when the union rep showed up. Someone must have called it in. Guy who'd been repping cops for 20 years. Had a lawyer on speed dial and a way of making problems disappear. Stone, you good? Good enough. Preston's making noise about assault charges. Wants to talk to internal affairs. Let him talk. He looked at the scene. 3 guys who looked like they got hit by a truck. 1 cop without a scratch. Footage? Rusty's got it. Shows them getting aggressive. Doesn't show who started it. Good enough. You got anyone who saw them throw first? Couple people said they saw chairs moving before I reacted. Rusty says they were causing problems all night. He nodded. Did his own math. Preston's got 2 prior complaints at bars around here. Last year he got thrown out of O'Malley's for grabbing some guy's girlfriend. Year before that he threatened a bartender at Sullivan's over a tab dispute. Both times witnesses backed him as the instigator. Didn't know that. Now you do. Point is, guy's got a pattern. You've got 11 years of nothing. No complaints, no excessive force write-ups, 2 commendations. When this goes to IA, they're going to look at his history and your history and make a judgment call. Preston and his boys got put in cuffs that night. Not for being assault victims, for drunk and disorderly, public intoxication, making threats, enough to hold them overnight and make their lives complicated. I went home, iced my knuckles, barely swollen, knew how to throw a punch without hurting myself. One of the first things you learn coming up. Phone buzzed around midnight. Megan, what did you do? Handled a situation. Preston's says you attacked him. He and his boys were running their mouths. Things escalated. I walked away fine. They didn't. This is insane, Stone. No, just consequences. Tell Preston to watch his mouth next time. Actually, tell him to stay out of my bar entirely. You can't do this. Already did. Sleep tight. Hung up before she could respond. Knew it wasn't over. Preston would try something. Lawyers, complaints, whatever. Preston tried to file assault charges the next morning. Walked into the station with a lawyer, demanding internal affairs. Here's the thing about institutional credibility. 11 years of clean service builds something you can't buy. Every supervisor thought I was solid. Never called in favors. Built up trust that meant something when it mattered. Preston had connections too. His lawyer made noise about assault. Called the local news. Filed complaints. But Preston didn't understand how credibility works. His reputation preceded him. The complaints from other bars. When investigators asked around, they heard the same thing. Preston caused problems wherever he went. I was a guy who'd never caused a problem. Union rep was at the station before Preston finished his statement. Department lawyer materialized. My supervisor had strong opinions about Preston's reputation. IA investigator had dealt with entitled civilians before. Wasn't rigged, just institutional gravity. The system trusts its own when they've given it 11 years of reasons. They took Preston's statement. Then they looked at the other statements. Varied in details but aligned on core facts. Preston's group was loud, aggressive. The confrontation escalated. Rusty's footage showed 3 guys surrounding 1 guy. Bad angle. Couldn't see who threw first. But you could see the situation escalating. Looked like what the statements described. Preston's lawyer got interested in moving on. Complaint withdrawn. IA opened a file anyway. Standard procedure. They interviewed me twice. Kept it simple. Video and statements supported my version. File closed after 3 weeks. No action taken. Self-defense supported by witness testimony. Subject officer has exemplary record. Complainant has documented history of similar altercations. I didn't win because I'm a choir boy. I won because I knew how the building works. Because Rusty had my back. Because Preston's history made him the perfect guy to not believe. Meanwhile, word got around. Story spread through contractor circles, business owner networks, local Facebook groups. Different versions, but the core was the same. Real estate developer talked trash about a cop's wife. Got his ass handed to him when he didn't know when to shut up. His main lender started asking questions. Not about the fight specifically. About the kind of person they were doing business with. Due diligence they should have done months ago. Found permit issues. Found liens. Triggered a review clause in the loan docs. Dominoes started falling. First domino was a subcontractor filing a mechanics lien. $63,000 in unpaid concrete work on a strip mall project. Public record. Anyone could look it up. I looked it up. Then I kept looking. County records showed permits pulled for work that never got inspected. Building department had open violations on 2 properties. One project started construction before approvals came through. Someone at City Hall was probably getting handled, but now there was attention, and that someone was getting nervous. Contractors started talking. Preston had been floating projects on promises, using money from new investors to pay old bills. Classic juggling act that works until it doesn't. His main partner, who'd been backing his commercial flips, called an emergency meeting. Accountants went through the books, found income projections that didn't match reality, rent rolls with tenants that didn't exist. Creative math that looked a lot like fraud when lawyers started asking questions. The partner didn't sue, didn't need to, just triggered the buyout clause in their partnership agreement and walked away with the only profitable property. Perfectly legal. Preston signed the contract himself. By month 3, the local paper ran a story. Developer facing multiple liens, permit violations, listed everything. The liens, the stop work orders, the frozen financing. Quoted anonymous sources about investor concerns. His charity event friends stopped returning calls. Politicians who posed for photos suddenly couldn't remember his name. Donors who wrote checks started asking for accounting. By month 4, he was down to nothing. Projects frozen. Credit destroyed. The Range Rover got repossessed. Lakefront house went on the market as a short sale. Not bankrupt yet, but the math didn't work anymore. I didn't ruin him. I forwarded some public records to a contractor who was owed money. He filed the lien. Everything else was already broken. I just made sure people noticed. Megan's situation played out through compliance. Someone tipped off her company's ethics hotline. Anonymous report about a sales rep logging fake visits. About expense reports that didn't add up. About time unaccounted for. Pharma companies are paranoid about this stuff. FDA watches. Lawyers circle. One compliance violation can cost millions in fines. Internal audit pulled her records. Call logs didn't match her route reports. Said she visited a client's office on dates she was at Preston's lake house. GPS on her company car told a different story than her submitted mileage. Expense receipts for client dinners at restaurants that had no record of her visits. Not just an affair anymore. Falsified records. Expense fraud. Systematic deception documented in company systems. HR didn't offer resignation. Legal wouldn't allow it. Terminated for cause. No severance. No references. Compliance flag on her record. She tried to fight it. Lawyer told her the documentation was airtight. Company had her own submissions contradicting GPS data she didn't know they tracked. Every lie she told to cover the affair became evidence. 3 months later, she was still job hunting. Got interviews. Made it to final rounds. Then things went cold after background checks. For-cause terminations for fraud don't get explained away. HR departments call previous employers. References go quiet. Through all this, I was working with my lawyer. Guy I knew from the courthouse. Handled divorces like dismantling engines. Methodical. Brutal when needed. My lawyer also filed civil paperwork against Preston. Not because I thought I was getting rich. Because depositions are where ego goes to die. Settled for $14,000. His insurance paid most of it. But the settlement was on record. Another paper trail following him everywhere. First meeting after Megan filed her response, my lawyer laid out reality. Got your documentation on everything. Good stuff. That helps us. What about her claiming I'm abusive? Won't stick. I cleared you. Witnesses backed your story. But there's more. What? She's saying you installed tracking without consent. Says that's stalking. Used it to confirm my suspicions, then removed it. Legally gray, I know. Good that you pulled it. Now here's what we got. She wants house, car, half the savings. Standard stuff, but no leverage. Because she cheated. Exactly. State's no fault, but infidelity still matters for credibility. Plus her boyfriend's business collapsed. Plus she just got fired for fraud. Judges notice patterns. So what's the play? Offer a settlement. She gets the car and her stuff. You keep house, savings, truck, split 60-40 your way. Won't agree. Then court. And I bring up everything. The affair, the public humiliation she caused, the termination for cause. Pattern of deception. Do it. My lawyer made it formal that afternoon. Typed up a settlement offer on his letterhead. Professional language that basically said, take the car and walk away or we go to war. Megan responded within an hour through her lawyer. Rejected it. Said the offer was insulting. That she deserved more after years of being gaslit. That's when I knew it was going to be expensive and long. 4 months after Rusty's and nothing was moving fast. November to January to March, we had 3 court dates scheduled and 3 cancellations. First one, I'm standing in the hallway when the clerk slides a paper through the window saying continuance granted because her lawyer claimed missing documents. My lawyer had sent them twice. Second one, I'm already through the metal detector when my phone buzzes, telling me the docket backed up and our slot was gone. Every delay was another month watching my retainer bleed. $8,000 gone before we even saw a judge. Mediator sessions went nowhere. $1,200 to sit in a conference room with stale coffee and squeaky chairs, while Megan said she deserved everything. Mediator finally looked at both of us, shook his head, and said one word: trial. That's when the real bleeding started. Megan's new lawyer was a former prosecutor. Guy never raised his voice and smiled while filing motions. Talked slow, like he was billing by the syllable. Weaponized every procedure in the book. Discovery requests hit my inbox like artillery. 5 years of financials compressed into one demand, covering bank statements, cards, taxes, everything. My lawyer's hourly was $325. Invoice arrived 3 days later. 900 and change just to respond. She wasn't trying to win. She was trying to bankrupt me. Motion to exclude the bar incident came first. claiming it was prejudicial. Half-day hearing, judge glanced at the brief, looked at her lawyer over his glasses, and said, denied. 5 minutes of his time. Invoice for me was $2,000 plus a personal day. 2 weeks later came the GPS tracker motion claiming illegal surveillance. Same dance of brief, hearing, denial. He filed for character witnesses next. People who'd say I had a temper. Wanted to depose Wade and my neighbors. My lawyer shut most of it down, but shutting things down still opens the checkbook. Month 5 and my retainer was empty. Wrote another $5,000 check at my kitchen table at midnight, with the calculator still glowing next to the checkbook. Lawyer warned me we were looking at 10 to 15 total before this ends. Same week, someone at the precinct asked if I was handling things okay. The IA file was closed, but whispers travel. Some guys nodded at me different now. Respect or distance, couldn't tell which. Work all day, then home to nothing. House was too big. Megan's stuff still sat in the spare room behind a closed door I couldn't bring myself to open. 3 a.m. I'd be awake again, doing math on the ceiling. Legal fees, lost overtime, what my credit score would look like if I needed a loan. Numbers never worked. Then her lawyer filed another continuance claiming an expert witness conflict. Pushed to April. Expert witness for a divorce. Some psychologist hired to testify I was controlling, that the GPS tracking showed a pattern, that Megan was justified seeking comfort elsewhere. Bull, but credentialed bull. We hired our own expert. $3,000 for the evaluation, $2,000 for prep, 6 hours of interviews. Report said I showed no abusive patterns and my responses to infidelity were normal. Court date got pushed to April 22nd. My lawyer prepped me the week before. Her lawyer will try to rattle you. Don't bite. Won't. Demeanor matters as much as facts. Keep cool. I'll be fine. We deposed Preston 2 weeks before trial. Conference room with bad lighting and worse coffee. He showed up looking like he aged 10 years. Lost weight. Suit didn't fit anymore. Borrowed probably. The Range Rover money was long gone. His lawyer was there looking uncomfortable. Her lawyer was there looking confident. My lawyer started with the affair. Preston admitted it. Then came Rusty's. Describe what happened that night. Preston straightened up. I was having drinks with friends. Stone approached us. Then he attacked me without provocation. Sucker punched me while I was sitting down. Her lawyer was nodding. This was their play. Paint me as a violent aggressor. My lawyer flipped to another document. Mr. Preston, have you ever been asked to leave a bar due to your behavior? Hesitation. I don't recall. O'Malley's Pub, 14 months ago. Manager asked you to leave after you grabbed a woman without consent. Her boyfriend complained. You threatened him. His lawyer objected. My lawyer produced the incident report. Dated. Signed. Preston's face changed. Sullivan's Tavern, 26 months ago. Bartender filed a complaint after you threatened her over a disputed tab. Another objection. Another document. Another piece of Preston's credibility crumbling. 2 documented incidents of aggressive behavior at bars. Pattern of escalation. And you want this court to believe at Rusty's you were quietly having drinks when a cop attacked you for no reason? Long pause. Preston's credibility was tissue paper, and everyone knew it. Maybe things got heated, Preston finally said. Maybe some words were exchanged. You provoked him. Deliberately. Publicly. And now you're surprised there were consequences. Preston's lawyer called for a break. The deposition ended with his credibility in pieces. April 22nd. 8 months after filing. Metal detector. Stale coffee. Megan brought her sister, a few friends. Smaller crowd than expected. Me, Wade, my lawyer. Didn't need a crowd. Needed facts. Judge took the bench at 9. 50s. Sharp eyes. My lawyer opened. Timeline. Affair. Confrontation. Bar incident. Termination. Pattern of deception. They tried to counter. Controlling husband. Surveillance tactics. Violence. Made me sound like a predator. Megan took the stand. Her version. Tracking. Monitoring. Forced out of her home. Cried describing our kitchen confrontation. Her lawyer showed photos. Preston's face. Made it look worse than it was. My lawyer cross-examined. Affair timeline. Termination. She claimed retaliation. My lawyer produced company documentation. Falsified call logs. Fraudulent expenses. GPS contradictions. Produced my screenshots. Her text saying, client dinner ran late while at Clearwater Drive. Same lies she told her employer. Pattern. Then my lawyer called Rusty. 30 years running that bar. Retired Marine. No criminal record. No reason to lie. Mr. Rustin, you were present the night of the altercation? Yes, sir. Describe what you observed. Rusty looked at the judge. Preston and his group came in around 8. Got loud. I've had problems with Preston before. Last year I had to ask him to leave. He's got a mouth on him. And that night, he was running his mouth about Detective Stone's wife. Whole bar could hear it. Graphic stuff. When Stone went over to confront him, Preston kept going. His buddies stood up, chairs moving. From where I was standing looked like they were about to jump him. Did you see who threw the first punch? Honestly? No. It happened fast, but I saw 3 guys surrounding one guy, and I saw that one guy defend himself. Your security footage has been entered into evidence. Can you describe what it shows? Shows Preston's group getting aggressive. Shows them standing up. Angles not great for the actual contact. Camera system's old. Her lawyer cross-examined. Tried to establish bias. Rusty didn't flinch. I've been running that bar 30 years. Had cops in there. Had civilians. Had problems with both. I call it like I see it. What I saw was a loudmouth who finally ran into someone who didn't take his crap. Judge took notes, asked questions, gave nothing away, closing arguments. Then we waited. 2 weeks later. Ruling in the mail. Divorce granted. Irreconcilable differences. Adultery noted. Judge's ruling was about credibility and patterns. Inconsistent testimony by plaintiff. Defendant's account corroborated by independent witnesses. Documented pattern of dishonesty by plaintiff affecting overall credibility. Complainant's boyfriend demonstrated documented history of aggressive behavior at similar establishments, undermining claims of unprovoked attack. Assets, house, truck, savings to me, BMW to her, 60-40 split. Judge cited her pattern of documented dishonesty affecting credibility. Assault claims dismissed. Over $20,000 in legal fees. 8 months of stress, done. 3 days after the ruling, Megan showed up. I was in the garage when her BMW pulled in. She got out slow. No makeup. Hair pulled back. Looked like she hadn't slept in days. Can we talk? Lawyer said no contact. Please, 5 minutes. I leaned against the workbench. Didn't invite her in. I made mistakes, she said. I know that now. Preston's gone. Job's gone. My sister won't talk to me anymore. My parents are asking questions I can't answer. Sounds rough. Stone, I'm asking you to reconsider. The settlement, the house, I have nothing left. You have the BMW. I can't live in a car. Her voice cracked. I've been staying in motels, using credit cards I can't pay off. I applied to 30 jobs last month. 30. Nobody calls back. Should have thought about that before you spent 6 months trying to bleed me dry. I was angry. My lawyer said we could win. Said you'd fold if we pushed hard enough. She stepped closer. I believed him. That was stupid. I know that now. Yeah, it was. We had 11 years. Tears running now. Doesn't that mean anything? I'm not asking for everything. Just enough to start over. A few months' rent. Something. You coordinated with your boyfriend to paint me as an abuser. You tried every motion in the book to drain my savings. You filed motion after motion trying to bankrupt me. I know. You called me boring. Said I'd never be anything more than a cop. Said it like protecting people for a living was something to be ashamed of. I didn't mean, yeah, you did. You meant every word. And then you threw away 11 years for some real estate guy with a nice car who told you what you wanted to hear. She was crying hard now. Real tears. Shaking. I'm begging you. Please. I'll sign anything. Give back the car. Whatever you want. Just don't leave me with nothing. Part of me remembered who she used to be. The woman who laughed at my bad jokes, kissed me goodbye every morning. That woman was gone. She killed her herself. Go figure out your life somewhere else, Megan. We're done. She stood there for a long moment, waiting for me to crack. I didn't. Finally, she walked back to the car. Sat inside for 10 minutes before she drove away. Watched her taillights disappear. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel bad either. Just felt finished. Preston's selling furniture on Facebook Marketplace now. Megan's working retail while she figures out her next move. Neither got what they wanted, just got what they built. And yeah, I put 3 guys on the ground in a bar full of people because one of them couldn't keep my name out of his mouth. Sometimes paperwork isn't enough. Sometimes you remind people that running their mouth about the wrong man is the dumbest move they can make. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.